Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. If you have a gardening question you'd like our host Fred Howard to answer, send him an email. The email address is fred@planttalkradio.com. Now for today's question. Now I'm going to explain something. Fred always gives me a cheat sheet of things he wants to talk about, and I'm looking at it right here, and all I see is the words spotted dead nettle.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
You did indeed.
What is that?
Well, now, last week a question came in on air about shade-type plants for under an oak tree.
Okay.
And I mentioned, I think, 4 or 5 perennial types, evergreen types, etc. And I came to one that I could not pull out for the life of me until I was halfway home after the program.
Okay.
Now, spotted dead nettle is an ugly name in my opinion. I use the technical name lamium, Lamium, most of the time. It will flourish in the shade. Mine is up. Not too high at this point. Starts off quite low and spreading, and then the flower stems will stick up maybe 6 inches above the ground, and 2 areas of it have started into bloom already. And then there's a second plant that I have. I don't think it's quite as good in the shade, but it's lamiastrum. It's yellow archangel by some common names. I simply call it false lamium. I get kind of unofficial with some of my names, but lamium or lamiastrum, and with emphasis on the lamium, can be a wonderful shade-type ground cover. Matter of fact, it just doesn't really like to grow in the sun. Mm-hmm. Now, if you got too far back, close to the trunk of that tree, and it's a big old tree. I don't remember quite her description, but at the same time, it will be both dry and dark in that area, so it may not be the best thing right at the very base of the tree. However, I'd still give it a start, and then if you have to, switch up to something else later.
Hey, thanks again for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our other podcasts as well, the Plant of the Week podcast and the Plant Talk Radio podcast, all on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. If you'd like to sponsor a daily podcast, contact us at fred@planttalkradio.com. To find out more about Fred Howard and Plant Talk Radio, visit our website, planttalkradio.com.
Circle270media.com